Welcome to Philadelphia, the Wells Fargo Center for the 81st Annual Division I Wrestling Championships. Appreciate you coming out. The format today, we'll have our 5 student athletes that are joining me on stage right now first, and then we'll have 5 head coaches at 2 o'clock. Just some ground rules that we'll go through that we'll follow throughout the weekend. Please give your name and your affiliation before you ask your question. We ask if you can direct your question if it's specific to the student athlete or coach. You're allowed 1 follow-up question. At this time, please, if you haven't already silenced your cell phones, please do so or turn them off. Joining me on stage from the far side is Jordan Burroughs from Nebraska, #1 seed at 165 pounds. Darrion Caldwell from North Carolina State, senior #1 seed at 149 pounds. Anthony Robles from Arizona State, #1 seed at 125. Kellen from Michigan, the #1 seed at 141, and next to me, Simaz from Cornell, who's the #1 seed at 197. So with that being said, please raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you so we can hear your question up here. And we'll start right in the front here. It's coming right to you.
How you doing? Ty Quinones from CBS 3 here in Philadelphia. Welcome and good luck, guys. My question is for you, Anthony. Can you talk a little bit about your inspiration and how you got to this point in your life? I mean, obviously, your story is somewhat remarkable, and I'm curious to learn what has inspired you to overcome everything that you have.
Well, really, I got into wrestling because I love the sport, and I didn't get into it for any attention or anything like that. But I think over the past few years, when my wrestling skills have gotten better, I've gotten some looks, and it's a real honor. I've had kids come up to me and get autographs and things like that, and I just felt privileged to be in that position. And really, this is my last year wrestling, and if there's one message I can get out to those younger kids, is just go after your dreams. Don't let anybody stop you, and that's pretty much it.
And the final question, the follow-up would be, do you like your chances here?
I like my chances a lot. I've been working hard all season, undefeated right now, and I plan to continue that through this last tournament. I'm a senior, so I want to go out with a bang, and that's with the title.
Thanks. We'll go right next to you.
This is Gary Abbott with USA Wrestling. I'd like to ask the 3 Jersey guys, Jordan, Darrion, and Kellen, about returning to the East for this championship and possibility of having family come and see you compete at the NCAA tournament.
Why don't we just go down the line, starting with Jordan, if you want to answer first.
I would just say it's an amazing feeling to be this close to home. A lot of my family, being that I wrestle in Nebraska, don't get to see me wrestle a lot in my matches. So this is my last 5 matches of my career as a Husker. And being this close to home, like I said before, is an amazing feeling, being on the biggest stage in the nation. And I'm definitely excited about it.
Darrion?
For me, it's also a great feeling. Being so close to home, having the support, of guys coming up. Family members are able to attend this here, as compared to St. Louis, where the drive or the flights were a little bit harder to come by. So just having it here at Philadelphia, so close to where I'm from and where I was born, it's a tremendous feeling. It makes me feel at home.
Yeah, I have to agree with them. It's great that my family and friends can come out. It is pretty hard for some of them to fly all the way out to St. Louis or come out to Michigan to watch me wrestle, and so a lot of my grandparents stuff haven't seen me wrestle that much since I was in high school. So it's great that they get to have the opportunity to come out here and watch me wrestle.
Mike Finn from Win Magazine. Darrion, this is for you. Could you describe the night of March in 2009, the night you really made your name, and how much has your life changed since then, since we really haven't seen you?
It's changed tremendously. I went from just an All-American to a national champion, and that says a lot, through work ethic and what the coaches have put into me and what I put into the sport. It's a great feeling, being a national champion, but it doesn't stop there. We still got work to do. This is a big tournament here, and I'm looking for a 2011 champion.
Well, since we haven't really seen you since that much, how much has your style changed? And the fact that you didn't get that many matches, has it hurt you at all this year?
Well, just the matches, it probably, I wish I would have got more matches, but the way I've been wrestling, I'm completely satisfied with the way I've been wrestling. You know, what can you say about an undefeated season up to this point? You know, you can't, there's no blemishes. You know, I haven't been taken down, and that's something I'm thriving off right now. I'm using that to go off and just to continue what we've been working on. You know, and which is winning advance. And this tournament here is, you know, winning advance. You know, it's nothing else you can do. You lose, you're back to the wrestlebacks, you know, and that's something none of us want to be. We don't want to be there, so we're going to do everything in our power to stay in that winner's bracket.
Questions? There's a couple in the back. We'll go all the way in the back row first.
Morakovitz, Comcast Sportsnet. Anthony, after not finishing where you would have liked to last year, did you change anything in your approach or what you did in the off-season that allowed you to have a successful season this year?
I did. You know, last year I didn't finish nearly where I wanted to. I actually took the whole summer off, which was the first time for me. I lifted, I ran, but I didn't do any wrestling. I felt like I needed to recharge, just mentally, and just really, you know, just get back to the sport and just my love for it. But once I came back, I just hit the tape from the national tournament, just figured out what I did wrong and what I need to work on. And I'm really confident that with the help of my coaches, we have been able to work on those weaknesses and really expand on my strengths. And you know, I'm excited for this tournament now. You know, I plan on going out on every match. You know, I'm going to be throwing the kitchen sink and everything else out there with it. So.
With that being said, coming in as the 1 seed, do you feel more or less pressure this year?
Honestly, the seeding doesn't really matter to me. You know, I came into this season believing that I wanted to be a national champion, and in doing that, I took every match like it was a national finals match. You know, no matter who was in front of me, whether it was a top 8 guy or some guy that wasn't even ranked, I went at him the same way, and I'm just going to continue with that process. You know, at this tournament, it's really a fresh start. You know, anybody can come in and win it, so it's all about who shows up for these 3 days for each match. And you know, there's a lot of dream crushers out there, and I'm hoping that none of them are going to be crushing my dreams this weekend. So.
John Small with the Philadelphia Daily News, and was it somebody else?
No, go ahead.
Okay. This is for anybody up there, or particularly maybe the seniors. If this were football or basketball, and you guys were at that, you know, at this level, if you are in your sport, there would be possibly professional careers afterwards. For you guys, what happens next for you? Have you thought about that? And you know, and you put so much into this, and now, you know, especially for the seniors, this is could be the end of your careers here as wrestlers, or maybe an Olympics next year. But after that, what do you think about that at all?
I mean, just being a wrestler my whole life, I think it's just something that we do for the love of the sport. A lot of athletes throughout the country in different sports do it for the money or for the fame, you know, but being a wrestler our whole lives, like, we don't do it for the recognition. Being a national champ, even at Nebraska, where wrestling has a huge history, you know, I didn't get a lot of recognition for it. At times, there would be kids in my classes reading the newspaper with me on the front page, and they didn't even recognize I was sitting next to them, you know? So things like that just make me just realize that it's just a humbling situation, you know? And just being recognized through my coaches in the wrestling community, and having my family recognize me as a great wrestler is just enough for me. So just going through life, I just know that wrestling's a hard thing to do. You have to have discipline. You have to be able to manage your social life and athletics and academics all at the same time. So, I mean, it's just one of those things that after you wrestled, a lot of things in life seem easy, you know? So coaching is definitely one of the bigger things for wrestlers. There's really no professional side of it. And being an Olympic champ is definitely a tough dream, but I bet a lot of these guys up here on this panel have dreams of being an Olympic gold medalist, as myself. And that's about it. After college, I plan on wrestling and hopefully bringing some gold medals back to the U.S. I mean, it's one thing to represent your school and to represent your state, but it's a whole other thing to represent your country. And that's an amazing feeling, and that's something I look forward to. And then hopefully coaching someday, and just being able to see other guys win. It's, like I said, it's an amazing feeling to see myself win and have success. but another thing to see someone else thrive off of everything that I've learned in my life and to be able to teach someone else things that I've done in my life.
Well, taking from what Jordan said as well, I definitely want to bring my career to the Olympic level, and a big thing for me is getting more kids involved. You know, we try to do this for the kids. You know, we try to make this sport interesting so kids could be amazed. You know, and want to get involved in this sport. So anything we can do to get kids involved and make sure that the sport of wrestling just grows and doesn't decline is big for me. So anything I can do, or anything that these guys up here can do, I'm sure that they're willing to do to get more kids involved and pull them away from the basketballs and the footballs. You know, we're just as athletic. The only difference I would say is the size. You know, and I feel like we put in the time. You know, we put in just as much time, if not, you know, a little bit more. You know, to be a national champ. And this sport is one individual. You know, so you see that one individual. You see two guys wrestling, but one guy stands out in that match most likely. You know, so when kids see that, it draws them to the sport. You know, and that's what we're trying to do.
For about the past 9 years now, wrestling has pretty much been my life. You know, I've wrestled since I started when I was a freshman in high school, and you know, it's been a fun ride for me. After this year, I'm pretty sure that my competition days are over. You know, I don't really see myself trying out for the freestyle team or anything like that. But I think it's going to be kind of hard to kind of cut cold turkey from wrestling. You know, so I'll probably be around the Arizona State room trying to help out as much as I can, the younger guys, you know, and just get in there when I can. But my main focus after wrestling is going to be motivational speaking, and that's I believe that's the next chapter of my life. So after this tournament, that's really what I'm going to be going to. But I think wrestling's going to be around for probably the rest of my life. You know, it's something you can't forget, and I just enjoy it so much. So.
Great answers, guys. I think we have a question right down front here.
Hi, Gary Mahocas, USA Today. My question's for Cam. Cam, could you, I know this is a long story, but what are some of the key things that make Cornell a team that could come here and compete for a national title as an Ivy League school?
Well, Cornell is an Ivy League school, and things are run a little bit differently there, obviously. But I think we have obviously the same kind of talent that Iowa, Penn State, any of the other front runners in the national tournament have. And as long as we wrestle to our potential, I think we have a pretty good shot.
Caldwell?
I take it you all have to work within the system, that you don't have a wrestling scholarship. How do you handle that?
Yeah. Right, we don't have a wrestling scholarship. There's no athletic aid. However, there is financial aid, which helps a lot of the athletics there at Cornell. But you still have to get in. You still have to pass admissions, and it does make it a little bit more difficult for a school like Cornell or any of the Ivy Leagues.
Other questions? Let's go. Yeah. Go ahead.
Craig Sesker, USA Wrestling, and question for Jordan Burroughs. Andrew Howe recently returned, and there was a time where we weren't sure he was going to be back. I mean, what does he bring to the bracket, and how tough is he going to be to deal with?
I mean, he's a tough opponent. You know, he's a national champ. He was a senior open champ. So, I mean, he's definitely a formidable opponent for myself. But, like I said, I'm a senior. Like Anthony said, he wants to go out with a bang, and I feel the same way, you know. This is it for a lot of guys. This is it for me. All the shots I've ever drilled in practice, all the meals I've ever skipped, all the parties I've ever skipped in my whole life, this is what it all comes down to. This is just an accumulation of everything I've ever worked for in my whole life. 5 more matches to get it done. There's going to be my whole family in the crowd, and I wrestle for a lot more than myself. You know, I wrestle for the Cornhuskers, I wrestle for my family, and I represent all my friends and coaches, so I definitely don't want to let them down.
John Smallwood, Philadelphia Daily News. Jordan, you talked about growing the sport, and this is for all of you guys up there. A city like Philadelphia, you know, the inner city schools don't really have, you know, wrestling's not a big sport there, and how important is it for you guys, or is it big for you guys to bring this, for this tournament to be here, to expose it, the sport, to kids who might not have any more knowledge than watching it on, you know, Saturday mornings on something like that?
I would say it's an amazing feeling. You know, it's an amazing feeling for kids that have never seen the top level of wrestling be able to view it this weekend. You know, a lot of kids, like you say, in the inner city schools, they don't have uniforms available to them. They don't have wrestling shoes available or adequate wrestling mats and things like that. So, I mean, them being able to come out to see the top level of wrestling that we're displaying on a daily basis is definitely, I know it's an amazing feeling for them. And if any of those guys ever want to talk, you know, I'm here. Like, I love to interact with my fans, and I love to just let them know that despite the odds, you can do it. And despite what they're going through right now, if you just work hard and keep pressing, that maybe someday you'll be up on the stage talking to the reporters just like we are.
Anybody have anything to add?
Well, I got a little bit to add. Being a city boy myself, you know, where wrestling isn't really one of the top sports in my city. I'm from Robles, New Jersey, and when I first started wrestling, people, my friends were like, "You wrestle? Like, that's like, what are you doing? Why don't you just stick to football or, you know, something else?" But I mean, the environment, wrestling is such a close-knit environment, and the people who actually know wrestling and are around the sport, it's just, we're like a fist, you know. So me personally, I feel like the kids here in the city could take a lot out of it. You may get, if you get 1,000, you know, kids here at this event, you may, who knows, 100 of them might want to wrestle next week, you know, regardless if they're coming into practice with socks on and no shoes, you know, or they have a match and wrestling with shorts, which I've done it. You know, I've been a kid wrestling with socks, no wrestling shoes, and shorts and a t-shirt, no singlet, you know. So for these kids to be out here and get a glimpse of just raw talent like us, it's a great feeling for ourselves. Like Jordan said, it's amazing to be able to be God's display.
Nice, guys. Any other questions?
Willie Saylor, the Open Mat. I have a question for Cam, being on a team that's a contender. How was being a team leader in the past 2 weeks since your EIWA title? What was the mindset in the room, and how have you guys prepared to maybe take advantage of a good situation you're in?
Well, as you might know, at Cornell it's a little bit more laid-back environment, so it's usually you know, lighthearted, and we take it easy. Specifically for, you know, nationals preparations, we draw our workouts back a little bit. We just want to stay fresh and stay sharp for the, you know, the biggest tournament of the year. This is what we work for. This is what our clock's set for, and that's our goal.
We have time for one more question, if there is one. You get down front here.
Hi, this is for Kellen, Darrion, and Jordan. The fact that you guys did not wrestle last year, when you came back this year, was there ever any doubt? What happens in that year when you take a year off in the midst of a competitive career?
It's just pretty humbling, you know. One of the most humbling experiences that I've ever been through was going from 2009 to having my hand raised on the biggest platform to being in Nebraska last year helping set up the stage for the national finals, you know. And that was really humbling for me. And at times, after I won my national title, before I was injured, I just got complacent with where I was and my career. You know, I had accomplished my ultimate goal, and I was just thinking, like, what's next now, you know? And I kind of forgot what it took to get to that place where I was before, you know? And I was just kind of bent on success and not much on the hard work that I had gotten to the national title with. And coming into this year, I mean, I had a couple doubts. You know, a lot of people that had went through injuries before told me, you know, you might never be as fast or you might not be as strong, you know. But I mean, I always kept my faith, and faith in my coaches, faith in God, faith in my hard work, and my trainers, that they were doing everything possible and everything necessary to get me back to where I needed to be. And that's where I am now.
Well, my mother sent me a text message earlier today. I wish I could read it word for word. I got it in my pocket. If that's all right, I don't know. I'd rather read it rather than just try to make it. She recently just sent me this message, and it goes, when God takes something away from your grasp, He's not punishing you, but merely opening your hands to receive something better. Concentrate on this sentence. The will of God will never take you where the grace of God will not protect you. So that was really, you know, that I took that to heart, you know, and it just made me realize that wrestling wasn't taken away from me for good, you know. It wasn't taken away from me. It was just a short term, you know, bump in the road, and now I'm here to make it happen again, you know. And God is with me, and my family, and my coaches, everyone's supporting us, and we're just here. We're just happy to be here again, you know, getting another shot at it, because you never know, the accident could have been fatal, you know. So I'm just glad to be here.
You know, I never really had any doubt when I started coming back this year, but last year when I got my first surgery, it didn't go as well as I thought it was. I never really got to get back on the mat, but you know, it gave me a new angle on wrestling. And before, where I was just a wrestler and I was out there trying to make myself better, I had a year of trying to make other people better and really learning how frustrating coaching can really be. And you know, it wasn't just frustrating, but it was a great learning experience for me to look back on what these kids were doing wrong and how it related to what I was doing wrong. So I think overall it really helped, you know, me get over some hurdles that I haven't been able to get over the first 2 years.
Gentlemen, thanks a lot for your answers.